Guys, so in this video we're going to be talking about VRA and the current situation. So as we can see, excuse me, VRA is down massively. Okay, and there's many reasons why that is the case. There's a lot of speculation. The team has been horrible with communication, and we're down pretty much like 90% or like 80% since July even. So but right around here, something I want to point out, there was a Binance reward pool for a trading competition right around this time on July 27th. So we did have a pump up during that time, and then right around there we dropped. And my theory is that possibly the amount of tokens that were given away during that trading pool, the reward pool, is what contributed to this massive drop. Maybe over time, maybe not immediately, but they gave away 960 million tokens, and the total supply is supposed to be about 9.6 billion. That like after migration. So if they haven't minted more tokens and haven't been scamming the community, that means that they gave away 10% of the supply to people that are probably mostly short-term traders, and those people probably sold, which caused price to drop like 90%. Okay, so that move on July 27th may have actually caused us to drop around 90%. I could be wrong, but that seems like a very high likelihood. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So let's look into some other possibilities for the current situation. And keep in mind, we are supposed to get an update by the end of this month. So there's about 9 or 10 days left. I'm not sure the exact amount off the top of my head. But the risk to reward ratio at the current price is pretty wild if we do get a comprehensive update and if it clears up people's fears. Because in my opinion, the fear is priced in. The potential supply increase is priced in. The current supply of potentially being 100 billion or 200 billion is priced in right now with the current price. That's my opinion on it. And then another big thing is price discrepancy. So if you look at KuCoin, you'll see prices like 25-30% higher than it is on other exchanges like MEXC. So if you're looking to buy some VRA right now with the risk to reward of, oh, they turn things around, this could easily double, triple, quadruple overnight, then you don't want to buy on KuCoin. Don't deposit USDT or ETH on KuCoin to buy VRA if you're looking to buy some more. Do it on MEXC. Do it on a different exchange because you're going to get it at an even greater discount. And that's because deposits have been paused on KuCoin. And one thing I want to touch on is you may have seen, if you've been keeping up with VRA, you may have seen this post on Twitter that claims this is KuCoin's reasoning as to why the maintenance is happening. They claim that KuCoin has paused deposits for VRA because of the detection of abnormal on-chain transfer activity. But I want you guys to go to KuCoin and go to their customer support and ask them what the reason is for the VRA maintenance. They cannot tell you. They don't know. They're probably not allowed to tell you. Whatever the reason is, they can't share. Okay, I reached out to them. They were not able to tell me anything. They just directed me to the official announcement, which just claims that there is some maintenance going on and there will be further updates when it's done. They did not say anything like this. Okay, this is all made up. This guy literally made this up. And then he retweets it. He quotes it by stating that he got this information from somebody else, probably not to be held accountable. And then he claims this Bybit is also followed and is considered delisting of VRA. The following information was gathered from KuCoin themselves and other public posts. This was not gathered from KuCoin themselves and other public posts. What other public posts? There's no information on that. It's just a lie. If you ask KuCoin yourself, they're not going to be able to tell you anything. They're likely not allowed to. So if they won't tell me and they won't tell you, they definitely didn't tell this random guy on Twitter and have such a comprehensive update like this and then not share it to everyone publicly. You're not going to find this anywhere publicly. He just made this up, probably to drive down the price. I think there is a coordinated FUD effort. Yeah, you can see in the Discord over here, I'm talking about this. So to touch more on that coordinated FUD effort, I want to show you guys this. This is from a while ago. This is from mid-October. So I've noticed this for a while. There's these small accounts that make wild, bogus claims about VRA, and they'll claim that VRA is selling tokens to on exchanges and things like this. But then if you actually look into these accounts, everything about them is fake. So, like for example, this guy only has 145 followers, joined in April 2025. Okay, so by the time I found this post, his account had only been up there for like 6 months. His name is Zhangji Bei Hai, some Chinese name that probably isn't even real. And then his at is RKG_DK, which is just random. It doesn't make any sense. And then claims to be the CEO of NTC Trust, which is just a made up thing that doesn't exist. And then he puts a VRA holder in his bio, but then claims it's a scam, so don't buy it. So he holds something that he recommends people don't buy. Like, I'm not gonna buy a jacket and tell people, oh, this jacket sucks, don't buy this jacket. That's retarded. And then this person claims that a micro X account can VRA pump and dump. I'm delusional overthinking. So yeah, I do think that the posts like this have an effect on price because there's so many of these fake accounts and there's not that many people talking about VRA. So posts like this spread fast. The information spreads fast. All right, so let's look at what else. So it says patents are super easy to get. You absolute monkey. Yeah, sure. Okay. So his profile picture is AI generated, only posts negative stuff about VRA, small amount of followers. His company doesn't exist, calls me out for for pointing these things out. And then, yeah, 99% AI generated. So why is someone going out of their way to create these accounts? And then they make videos showing supposedly that this is happening on Etherscan, but you don't actually see what they're claiming. Like he's saying that you're seeing the tokens being sold, but you can't see the tokens being sold on the blockchain if they're being sold on KuCoin. If I'm sending Ethereum to KuCoin and I'm selling it there, you're only going to see me sending the Ethereum to KuCoin. You may see USDT if I sold it. Like that's definitely a possibility, and people are claiming this as well. But you're not actually going to see the sell transactions. These could be private sales. There could be a lot of reasons for this. They could be funding startup costs. They could be paying employees. They're not. They are allowed to sell tokens, guys. That's not the end of the world. But these accounts are claiming that they know for absolute that it's occurring, and that there's blockchain evidence of it. You don't see that specifically happening there. You don't see that exact action. It's bullshit. So one more thing I want to touch up on about this update, there's going to be an update coming, supposedly. Hopefully we actually get it in December. I really don't think it's good if we don't, but people are really concerned about the potential supply increase. So in my eyes, there's a couple of different scenarios that could occur. We may have full migration and we go back to the original supply of 9.8 billion tokens or whatever it was, somewhere around there. And then the rest of it is transferred over to Tron. It's migrated over to Tron to be POV tokens, and then holders on the VRA Wallet app, they'll get an airdrop of a certain amount of POV tokens compared to what they hold or what they stake. It's one of the possibilities. I think that'd be a great possibility. I think it's probably like the best scenario. The other possible scenario is that they have been selling a certain amount of tokens, so they can't migrate everything, and they may have to increase the actual circulating supply of VRA tokens and migrate some of the other tokens to be POV tokens. If that's the case, I also don't think that's the end of the world, because that is in their terms and conditions that they could sell VRA tokens. They could sell POV tokens as VRA tokens. That is something they stated they could do. They are not hiding that. But people used to complain about the XRP supply all the time, being that it's 100 billion. But now nobody talks about the VRA supply, because the tokenomics don't matter. The token supply of XRP does not matter. What matters is a functional product. Okay, no one actually cares about the token supply. There's been a coordinated effort to manufacture this inorganic fear of the VRA token supply, and it's just nonsensical. Once this is handled, if there's a working product, the token supply actually does not matter. So once we get this update, that's it. Once we get once this is handled, that's it. It won't matter. Like people used to be afraid of the the XRP token supply around here, guys, and now it's like 5x from there. It's massive. It really does not matter, and our token supply is probably going to be a lot less than that. And the another scenario I can think of is that if they have been selling the tokens and they decide they want to bring the supply back to where it was, they have been selling these tokens for a long time. If that's the case, they've probably sold them at a much higher price than they currently are now. So even if they sold them, like if they sold a lot of them in July, or if they sold a lot of them in October, or if they sold a lot of them in April, if they've been selling this whole time, then they can buy them at a very discounted rate. So they can probably buy back most of what they've sold, which would give them the ability to 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 fix the token supply, or at least to airdrop people the difference using POV tokens, or to buy back these tokens and migrate them. So I'm really not all that concerned about this. I think this is manufactured fear, and it just seems very irrational, especially being that we have a token like XRP, which has 100 billion supply. If our supply is 100 billion or 200 billion, it's not that far off from XRP. And if we have a functional product that is actually used, then none of it will matter. So that's my whole point, guys. None of it matters, and we'll have to wait and just see what the update is. And I think that the risk to reward right now is really great, especially if you're buying on an exchange like MXC. And if they give us a comprehensive update, you may never get prices like this again on VRA. But we'll see. The other risk is that they screw us and this goes to zero. So that's a pretty decent risk that I'm willing to take. It's like you could take $1,000 and it may turn into 100K, or it may turn into zero. Not so bad in my opinion. I don't know why everyone's freaking out so much, but all right, that's it.